Hello, hello. Wishing you an amazing um, Saturday. Kind of zoned out there for a second. Ah, well, I wanted to discuss today the the term fear. It's something that is a part of all of our lives and is used in a lot of ways to control us and is fed by things like media, social media, I don't know, lies, etc., that make us uncomfortable or afraid, fear. Now, I want us to explore this a little bit because fear is a really generally used term, but I think there's facets of it that we need to kind of separate, and it'll help us transit through things that aren't serving us, that are mixed in and causing reactions in our body, literally. So there's two different terms of fear. Some people talk about this acronym of fear: false evidence appearing real. So that kind of fear is, for example, introduced into our system by a news story. Oh, there's going to be a nuclear war. Oh, there's a bunch of deaths going on right now due to this thing that's happening. The murder rate, the crime rate in your city on the news, and how somebody got attacked or whatever, their house got broken into or whatever. These things kind of go into our subconscious while we're watching news or reading the paper or hearing it from somebody else. And then it creates a, what you want to call it, like oh, that could be me, like a shared experience of that event. You hear about it, you hear all the gory details, etc. And then human beings have this way of trying on an experience because they maybe haven't experienced it themselves. They'll hear about it through the news, through gossip, through whatever, and then they'll kind of try it on and feel how that would feel. Oh, look how scary that would be, and imagine if that happened in my house, etc. And it creates this, how to describe it? It's like an energetic attachment to that outcome or that possibility. For example, someone in my family is part of a group called Citizens on Patrol, and their experience of crime has went up substantially, probably 20 times what it was before, because they get to see it every day. They see it's happening to other people, and then it's part of his reality. And we're doing this all the time. We're seeing people having experiences. We're hearing about it on social media. We're getting it fed into us from news and TikTok and all these different things. And then we're starting to identify it. It's like, okay, war in Ukraine or whatever. It's like, oh, look at all those people. Look at the pictures. And then meanwhile, you're seeing all this stuff that it's like, oh, here's the exodus from Ukraine. And then I saw a post yesterday that here's the picture out of the movie, the 2012 movie, of all the people stuck on the road, and it's exactly the same picture, and it's being sent as the news media as the Exodus. So it's not even true. So those things are all what I'd call a programmed fear response, and they create a possibility inside of us of maybe that might happen to us, and then we create this like arm's length or protection inside of ourselves. And this is what I call the false evidence appearing real. Can you think of things like being afraid you're going to lose your house because you didn't make a mortgage payment or something like this? We also have this level of, sorry, somebody's trying to call me, this level of programming where now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I heard I could lose my house to the government or the bank or whatever if I don't pay my taxes, if I don't do all these things. These are things that stay as a tension in our body. I'm speaking from my experience as well, because I feel it too. It's like, oh, if I don't pay my credit card on time, then there's an impact. And I don't know if you've ever tried or missed making a credit card payment. Some of the systems they have are demented. It was calling me 3 or 4 times a day, reminding me to make my payment and stuff like this, creating this energy of fear. Like, oh, you're doing something wrong, something's bad. We are all feeling this false evidence appearing real. So I want you to take that stuff that isn't actually happening to you and put it in a different bucket than fear. And we have to be aware that we're tensing up in our body, we're protecting ourselves, we're constantly trying to please and protect and be a good little boy and a good little girl. That's all based on this fear and programming. And then there's also a level of past life experience that we've had. If you had a life where you were killed and your property was stolen from you or whatever, you're probably feeling this a little extra intense, but it's based on something that's not even real in the moment. So that stuff that's going into your system is creating a tension, and it's not actually even happening yet. It's just from the belief or the expectation that it could happen, is the false evidence appearing real. So I want you to set that in one bin and call that life tensions, programming, whatever. Now, the other fear is the primal fear. So this is what's actually triggered in your body by all those other false evidences coming of being under visceral attack in the moment. Like, oh, this mountain lion is coming to kill me, and it's like feet away from pouncing on me. There's a reaction, there's a cortisol response, there's a, what do you call it? The epinephrine response, or the one that makes your heart beat fast. These are the real fear, the real fight or flight, the real tension that is trying to protect you against instant, imminent danger. That's where the other stuff is false, because it's not happening right now. It could be months or years in advance of where you are, but you're already pre-feeling the fear. It's a programming. It's stuff that we've been taught to keep us scared and afraid and not standing up for ourselves. So look at that fear, feel that, okay, I'm about to, or I just had an accident, or a bomb went off, or whatever. These things may not have happened to you, but I'm just trying to suggest an event that creates a visceral response of self-protection. And that has an effect on us. And those, by science, etc., has allowed us to stay safe. We get extra strength, we can run away, we get hyper clear, we're sitting in the moment, we're observing, we're searching for safety in that moment. And these are designed to be very short term, like minute, 2 minutes, maybe half an hour or an hour. But we're actually to the point now where our body is constantly in that state of fear, of worrying about, oh, there might be a nuclear war, there might be somebody come and take my house, or somebody will steal all my money, or whatever. These are the false evidences, and they're not current, but our body is now creating this response of fear, of expectation, of worry. And it steals our day. It kills our body. That cortisol in your body, that tightness you feel, the fact that you can't breathe, your chest feels really tight and back is tight, is that false evidence stealing your time, your whatever. It creates cancer and toxins in our body. It exhausts us on a regular basis, and we're not even consciously aware. So that's what this live is about, is what is really fear and what is that false evidence, or that potential of something, and living in that potential of something bad happening. I know I lived half my life, well, most of my life, worrying about something bad could happen, and then doing these really huge somersaults to try and fix things. It's like, oh, 2012, I bought a fireplace and a whole bunch of energy logs and stocked up food and water and stuff because I believed what people were saying, that this was going to happen, and it never did. And how many times has that happened in your life where something like that never did happen and you ended up going to all these hoops? And I do it still today. I worry about paying my bills and interest on credit cards and paying my taxes on time and all this kind of stuff. And it creates this kind of like self-protecting, arm's length way of living life. And this can go into relationships, this can go into almost anything. And it creates that cortisol, it creates that fear, it creates all that stuff, and it's constantly in there. So I just want you to go inside and feel, is there something I'm holding back from? Is there something I'm afraid of? What's my worst fear? What's that? And feel it. Are you breathing fully? I'm not breathing fully. Whatever's going on in this world right now is pushing me like you wouldn't believe to release stuff that not even aware. It's in my subconscious. And it's bringing up a lot of false evidence appearing real. Fears like, dating or relationships, and oh geez, I got hurt by that, so now it's like put this protection level up. I know women do it a lot, because I see it on the other side. It's like, oh, let's test you out and let's prove you're okay and all this kind of stuff, and it doesn't really help. It just creates other problems. So where are you living from false evidence appearing real, or that mangled up searching for the future kind of fear that's not even really happening? And where in your body is it stuck right now? And then how often do you have the other kind of fear, which is fight or flight kind of fear, where you're like just running on all this energy and your heart's pounding and all that kind of stuff? Well, you're experiencing a version of that all day long if you're in the other kind of fear. So separate the two. And start making a declaration that isn't real. It hasn't happened yet. If it's something that could happen in the future, say that isn't real. I don't fear it. I don't need to protect myself from it, because that very fear actually creates it a little bit for us. And then we end up getting in a situation where that false evidence is real now because we're actually manifesting it, because we didn't know we could have better, or the resistance of things actually creates them. So start to explore how those fears are felt in your body. When are you getting attacked kind of fear? And when are you getting this thing on the news and worried about protecting people and keeping people safe and keeping us safe and all this kind of stuff from something that's not even happening to you in this moment, but could happen to you? And it's used as a control mechanism. So take your power back by understanding these two, or being aware, or understanding. I hate the word understanding, but being aware of how these two are pulling inside your system, and may actually be stealing your health, may actually be stealing your calm, your relaxation, etc. Just wandering around in something that could happen but isn't actually happening. Put your energy towards what is actually happening and being aware of it. And you're going to find a massive improvement, a massive sanity improvement, mental health improvement, and take your power back. So once you understand it, say, no, this isn't happening right now. I take my power back. Take a few deep breaths and let it go. And you'll be surprised. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope this helps. See you soon.